Have you ever had your players completely misread a moment you thought was crystal clear? Maybe they saw a crying NPC and assumed they were guilty of something, or a ruined temple and jumped to the conclusion that it was cursed. You never said any of those things, but they believed them anyway. That's the Kuleshov Effect at work, a powerful narrative principle from early film theory that just so happens to be one of the Dungeon Master's secret weapons in your toolbox. Today we're going to dive into how this technique works and how you can use it to shape meaning, mystery, and drama at your table without changing a single scene. In the 1910s, Russian filmmaker Leo Kuleshov conducted a now famous experiment. He showed audiences the same neutral shot of an actor's face and then followed it with different images: a bowl of soup, a child in a coffin, a woman reclining on a couch. Audiences swore the actor looked hungry, sad, or lustful, depending on the second image. But here's the twist: the actor's face never changed. The meaning came not from the image itself, but from the context surrounding it. In other words, we don't just observe things, we interpret them. And we do that based on emotional cues, sequencing, and assumptions we bring with us. In storytelling, this means you don't always need to rewrite that moment. You just need to change what comes before or after it. This works especially well when you're trying to inject tension or mystery into your campaign. Let's say the party is exploring a ruined chapel. They step inside and you describe the shattered pews, blood on the altar, and a faint smell of incense. If you frame this moment earlier by saying, locals say this chapel was once the site of forbidden rites, your players will lean into fear, paranoia, maybe even divine danger. But if you said this place was sacred to a god of healing, now long forgotten, the same description feels tragic, maybe even holy. Again, the scene didn't change, but the player's emotional lens did. That's the core of this technique. You don't change the what, you change the why. The Kuleshov effect is subtle. It's not a big twist or dramatic reveal. It's a lens, a way of guiding player interpretation without needing to control their choices. Let's say your players discover a burnt village. No survivors, no context. Then later they hear one NPC says that it was a red dragon attack. Another says the villagers were cursed. The third claims the village was hiding something and this was divine punishment. The same visual, same map, same burnt village. But now the players are not asking what happened, they're asking why. And who's lying? You didn't change the scene, you just changed what they carried into it. This is the Kuleshov layering, giving scenes multiple interpretive anchors that build tension through contradiction and ambiguity. This technique shines in social encounters, especially when mystery, paranoia, or politics are involved. Let's say the players are invited to a royal dinner. You describe the noble host as polite but unreadable. The meat is cooked perfectly. The portrait on the wall looks just like one of the PCs. Now, if the players learned earlier that the noble was involved in, say, a coup attempt, every detail seems ominous. But if they were told this noble saved the kingdom once, the same dinner might feel even reverent, respectful, even flattering. You didn't change the room, just the narrative framing. And the best part, the players fill in those gaps themselves. They create tension that you didn't have to script. One of the most satisfying moments in a campaign is when players reinterpret something that happened earlier. The Kuleshov effect isn't just a forward-facing tool, it's retroactive. Let's say the party once saw a knight kill a bandit and leave without a word. At that time, they assumed the knight was just cold and efficient. But several sessions later, they learned that knight is the king's secret assassin. Suddenly, that moment changes in hindsight. It wasn't just a kill, it was an execution, a message, a cover-up. You never had to retcon the scene, you just gave them a new lens. That's pure Kuleshov. The footage didn't change, the interpretation did. You can apply this technique to combat encounters as well. Let's say the players are ambushed by bandits. It's a standard fight. Now, change the lead up. Maybe an NPC told them these bandits are rebels fighting against a cruel lord. Or maybe they were warned the bandits were slavers who took a child from a nearby village. Same stat blocks, the same terrain, but the emotional weight of the fight has changed. Something has bit me. Mercy, vengeance, fear all come from what you told the players beforehand. This is especially powerful for those moral gray zones. Player versus player conflicts if you allow it, faction play, war stories. You control the emotional temperature of the table without touching those dice. The Kuleshov Effect isn't just a film trick, it's a storytelling mindset. You don't need more exposition. You don't need 5 pages of backstory for every NPC. All you need, what you need, is context. That players bring their assumptions, that scenes speak through silence, that one truth shape another, without ever confirming either. The Kuleshov Effect lets you keep the world alive, even when it's standing completely still. Squirrels are still mad at me. If this helped spark ideas for your next session, check out the Rashomon and Negative Space videos as well. They all build into each other, and if you haven't yet, consider subscribing for more tools to build stories your players will talk about for years. Until next time, keep telling stories worth interpreting. This is James from the Dungeon Puffin. Later. Also, shout out to Dungeon Soup. I love this t-shirt, I bet you too. Don't you? No! Amazing. Check out Dungeon Soup on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious stuff. I can't get enough of it.